Another driver granted a license for 2025 for the full season. This crazy young man has a huge following from Finland. 2JZ, 900 horsepower, JZX 100 fires through the circuit. And as we know, Jarkko Jylhä likes to remove body panels well. Hopefully he won't get too close to the wall, but that's a lovely line in that long outside zone. Puts the car right to the edge of the circuit, and Jarkko Jylhä surprised everyone when he turned up to Finland as a wild card and fails to get to that in the clip. And I can hear the sigh from the judges. He's promising. He looks like he could shine this year at Drift Masters as he fires through the gears in his Toyota JZX 100. A big car and a big fast track. What could he do now on his second qualifying run? Look at the way the car pops up in the air on the handbrake. He's gone very deep. He hangs onto it though. Jarkko Jylhä puts the car right across the circuit, fires it on angle, slows the car down, a little dab the handbrake, collects the dots though, hits up that final zone and across the line. As the light goes green for Aaron Nilsson, you can see the hammer drop, and look at Jarkko Jylhä already there, already up alongside. As he falls into formation, a big flick from Nilsson as he now puts foot to floor, starts to try drive away from Jarkko Jylhä. Down they come, nice line, both in formation into outside zone 4 as they pick up the throttle back. Up and down the hill they come as Jarkko Jylhä just hangs back ever so slightly, gives Aaron Nilsson some room to manoeuvre, but now makes a dive as they get it across the line. And here we go, anti-lag firing as the gears are slamming through. They go down off that start line. Jarkko Jylhä looks like he's a little slower compared to Aaron Nilsson. As Aaron Nilsson already over the back bumper, already over the side of the car as he flicks it through. Aaron Nilsson already losing body panels. They slow for outside zone 4 and then catches Nilsson out. As Jylhä now on a nice line, gets that car right to the outside edge of the circuit. Aaron Nilsson goes for a big dive, down the inside he goes. Tries to put that Sora right to the front wheel, and he does. Tags the door 1, 2, 3 times.
Very
bangs that car into gear as they go through the gears now. Off the start line they go. Jarkko Jylhä still not into formation, waits for that flick across the circuit and takes a little closer dive down. As Aaron Nilsson puts that car right where it needs to be. It's scrappy once again from Jarkko Jylhä, a little wandering and wavering, no proximity at the moment from the Finnish driver as Aaron Nilsson puts that car right to the edge of the circuit. Now Jarkko Jylhä starts to gain some ground, but he's still not in the conversation as Nilsson takes it across the line.
Yeah, I need to apologize to Aaron Nilsson
for many years. Look at this, Aaron Nilsson. He's aggressive, and look at him popping the front of that Sora up as he now tries to put the pressure on Jarkko Jylhä already onto the back bumper. He goes, and look at this from Aaron Nilsson as he now finds that proximity as they come firing through. Two big body Toyotas going door to door as they come down to outside zone 4. A little ground loss there for Aaron Nilsson. He has to shallow up the angle, but now he makes a dive across the circuit. They fire it through as Aaron Nilsson once again makes a big dive for the door, tags the door of the JZX 100 across the line.
Wow, Nilsson, man.
At this circuit 2 years ago, Jarkko Jylhä, ladies and gentlemen, this incredible Toyota Chaser JZX 100 2JZ as he flicks that car across the circuit. Permanent license in Drift Masters for 2025 as he puts back end into the wall and along the wall as Jarkko Jylhä now looks down for that inner zone, finds it, flicks the car to angle, keeps it safe, not too close to the wall, doesn't want to destroy the car and give anything for the judges to talk about as he puts that car right on that right line into that second to last outside zone, up on the wall, across the line.
We're just getting better and better with every round.
Debut here in Finland in this incredible JZX 100. Comes off the line, 2JZ, an 89 on the board. What can he do? Jarkko Jylhä, 22nd position. At the moment, it's deep into the wall. And that's a big error. The bits of the alloy wheel and the tyre, and he's shredded the back end of that car. Absolutely in ribbons is Jarkko Jylhä's JZX 100.
It's another driver pushing for those extra points. Really, everybody knows. Everybody's on notice now that if you want to do this, you can see that tire still smoking.
He drift masters in Finland 2 years ago. And been a regular ever since, and now a full license holder as they fire through off that start line. You can say Ite Seda finds his way down on the inside, down on that front wheel of that big JZX 100 as he now plays with Jarkko Jylhä in and out of that long second outside zone as they come firing through the middle of the circuit. Now you see it goes full dry. Look at this line though from Jarkko Jylhä. He can deal with these conditions. The Finnish drivers adapt him well, and a big mistake there from Ite Seda as he hits the front wheel, and it looks like he's broken the steering. As Jarkko Jylhä tries to deal with it, but it's completely upset his line.
Yeah, really interesting. I mean, Ite Seda had a ton of speed coming in there, but Jarkko Jylhä
as he pulls that car into gear, looks across the camera, gives a little nod. And Laurie Heinen opted to lead first as they come off that start line. Laurie Heinen doesn't want to change the script. He knows what he knows and he knows what he likes as he flicks that car from left to right. And look at this, straight onto it. Jarkko Jylhä knows he can trust Laurie Heinen. He would have watched this man growing up. He would have watched the skill that Laurie Heinen has, and he would have cheered him on from the sidelines when he won that championship in 2024. But look at this, Jarkko Jylhä goes for it, and that was a wobble from Laurie Heinen. Was that forced by Jarkko Jylhä? Well, we'll find out from the judges as he comes firing down the hill. Laurie Heinen steps on the throttle once again. You hear that V8 scream as he flicks the car to angle. Jylhä on the inside, he can't find the side of Heinen's car.
Yeah, put down a better lead run than what Laurie did in front of him.
And here we go, about to find out as the light goes green. They leave the line. It's going to be Jarkko Jylhä to lead out Laurie Heinen. Heinen's going to go for a straight line approach on that chase, and he fires that car in door to door with Jarkko Jylhä as Jylhä puts a back end at JZX100 into that outside zone, full throttle from both guys. And you can hear Laurie Heinen just working that throttle, just tickling that throttle like it's got an egg on it. And now they go bumper to bumper on that transition again. No problems from either guy this time. But look at Laurie Heinen. He can't be shaken as Jarkko Jylhä leads him down the hill towards that bump as they come over it. Jarkko Jylhä keeps that car on track, flicks it through that second to last outside zone. Jylhä goes for that high line, and Laurie Heinen squeezes him against the wall.
That is a tight battle.
Twitching on the throttle pedal, he's ready to go. He lifts his leg off the clutch and lets go of the handbrake and launches that car off the start line as Laurie Heinen leads out Jarkko Jylhä for the final spot in our top 8 awaits for one of these guys. And Laurie Heinen looks like he's turned that car up to 100, maybe let the tyre pressures down a little more, because look at this, Jarkko Jylhä just can't hang with him. He's in the middle of the circuit on shallow angle, and Laurie Heinen starts to drive away as he puts that car right across the circuit, looks for outside zone 4, and Laurie Heinen is on an absolute flyer at the moment. This is beautiful from the Finnish driver Heinen as he comes down the hill. Jarkko Jylhä can't get himself into the conversation. He needs to do something, can make a stamp of approval as Heinen fires it on angle, up on the high on the wall across the line.
Yeah,
he certainly has. Look at this, Heinen already creeping off of that start line, ready to try and get the jump on Jarkko Jylhä. He doesn't want to let him get away. His fellow Finishman dives into that first outside zone. Look at this, Laurie Heinen planted to the side of that JZX100. Doesn't give him any room to breathe as Jarkko Jylhä fulfills all of outside zone 2 perfectly, squishes the back end of that JZX onto the wall and uses it to push himself into that front zone as they fire through. Jarkko Jylhä looks to go deep, but look at this, you can't shake Laurie Heinen. He's onto the side, onto the rear bumper. He's all over Jarkko Jylhä as they fire down the hill. Both guys go a little wide, but they deal with it, and Laurie Heinen takes a brave dive onto the side of Jarkko Jylhä's JZX100 across the line.
Yeah, both drivers
it's just incredible. Toyota JZX100. As he comes through the gears down, big flick across the circuit now. Will he keep it clean? He does. And look at this from Jarkko Jylhä on the foot brake, but goes too far, pushes the front end over that inner zone. Now starts to tidy up as Jarkko Jylhä puts the back end into this long outside zone. It looks like in that break, the wind has come through Mondello Park and completely dried the track. As Jarkko Jylhä, look at that beautiful line as Jylhä puts the back end to the wall and across the line as the Finnish driver makes a big statement.
Yeah,
Jarkko Jylhä 19th position at the moment, so he knows what he needs to do. He would have been watching from the spotters tower, watching from behind the scenes and seeing what's going on. Look at the way he flicks that car to angle. Very nice from the Finnish driver right now. Jarkko Jylhä works the back end at JZX100 right to the extremities of the circuit as he puts the rear wheel right to the white line, stands on the accelerator and unleashes all of the power available from the 2JZ as he now puts it back into that outside zone, back onto the line, onto the wall, across the line. Job done from Jarkko Jylhä.
Yeah, trying to level up throughout this entire thing. Holds that car back
starts
so
to creep
well.
off the line as Jason Benet now gets the green light through the gears. They come down the hill, and look at this as Jarkko Jylhä not giving Jason Benet an inch to get away, but he does lose ground on that initiation. Everyone's been talking about how fast Jason Benet is. He's that fast. The tyres back on fire once again, but he's got very wide. He's just about going to hold it on circuit. He has to sacrifice the lost speed there, and that opens the door. Oh, and he pulls off the circuit. The car shuts down. Jarkko Jylhä will finish up the run and bring it across the line, and I am not sure what's happened there to Jason Benet, but he completely shut it down.
It looked like he pulled off, is pulling off there too.
Start line Marshall Martin, the shirt's on, the light goes green, they slam into the gears and through the start line as Marko Zakaril works his way through the gears onto the back bumper of the Finnish driver's Toyota Chaser. Fires down into the initiation zone, and Marko Zakaril dials on more angle to avoid any such incident this time. Now works his way into that groove. Look at him dialed in, onto the door he goes. Left foot braking as Jarkko Jylhä leads them through the centre of the circuit. Jylhä up to the wall. Zakaril, strange line on the inside of the circuit, now has to work to get back onto the side of that JZX100. Yeah, you apply the pressure to the handbrake to get a good launch off the line as Jylhä breaks through that start line. Down through the gears they come, over the hill. Oh, big initiation from both guys. Jarkko Jylhä not kept in the dark though. Look at this, firing through. The Finnish driver wants this one. It's a beautiful lead and chase so far from both guys as Jarkko Jylhä starts to put that chase right where it needs to be. A little shy on some of those transitions from Marko Zakaril though, not as deep into the zones we'd like to see. And now Jarkko Jylhä loses some ground as Zakaril takes it over. Massive difference by the end of this weekend. Here we go, off the line. Marko Zakaril's chased down Jarkko Jylhä. Finland versus the Czech Republic right now as Jarkko Jylhä fires in that big Jason X100. Look at this from Zakaril though. Found a little bit more grip in the car, a little bit more pressure, a little bit more power as he unleashes it, dives across, but he's out of formation, now gets himself back into it as Jarkko Jylhä puts on a beautiful lead line at the moment, on throttle nice and early in the outside zone. Zakaril dials on the angle, looks for the side of that JZX across the line. Here we go, on the line, green light ready to go, and it's Zakaril to lead out Jarkko Jylhä as they fire through the gears. Zakaril needs a nice clean lead line here, look at that, fires that BMW to angle, puts his foot to floor, now starts to drive away. Jarkko Jylhä deals with it, matches the angle, now tries to gain some lost ground in that outside zone as Jarkko Jylhä puts the front end of that JZX100 right up in Marko Zakaril's business. They get into that second to last outside zone towards the wall as Marko Zakaril drags him across the line. Broke a quick change differential in half yesterday. Just goes to show you how much grip these guys are running. So JZX100 2JZ, 900 horsepower, and look at that line, unbelievable so far. The transition's a little too early, puts himself way on the inside of the circuit. Now he's going to be struggling to get back on that qualifying line. As Jarkko Jylhä is going to go nice and wide, does pick up that qualifying line once again, fires into this outside zone, keeps the back end of that JZX off the wall or in it. One of the two he's going to opt for. Oh, and it's smashed again. He brings it across the line. 1.5 is Jarkko Jylhä, though, work to be done for the young Finnish driver as he pedals that car off the line, trying to find some grip in the rear wheels as he slams through the gears. Fourth gear selected as he flicks that car from left to right. Now into that first outside zone, sets the car up nicely on full throttle as he fires it across the circuit, uses the curb to push that car back across the track as well into those zones. Nice transition, nice line on full throttle. Look at this, dials the angle on now, works his way, looks at that final outside on the throttle, nice and early. Bumper onto the wall, little dab of the foot brake, keeps it controlled though as Jarkko Jylhä gets the job done across the line.
The final outside zone really is, I mean, if you've got
starts to creep off the line, it's going to be Finland versus Switzerland as they come off the line through the gears. Absolutely in the zone is Yves Meyer right now. They flick him to angle as Jarkko Jylhä now finds outside zone. No, and he's off and it's wild and he holds on to it as Yves Meyer almost throws the car into the wall as Jarkko Jylhä now drives away to finish the run.
Holy, I thought that was it for the Supra.
Yeah.
I thought that was it. Oh, man. Jarkko Jylhä, do you even know what was going on behind you?
Chase down Jarkko Jylhä. As Jylhä, the higher qualifier, decides to lead first, side by side as they come through the gears down to initiation. He flicks that Toyota JZX to angle, stands on the accelerator and sings that 2JZ as they fire through. And look at this from Fionn Rosto, not letting the young Finnish driver get away. Now starts to regain some lost ground as Jarkko Jylhä puts it into the outside zone. Fionn Rosto losing ground once again, now making a mistake in the outside zone, but so does Jarkko Jylhä as Fionn Rosto goes to the inside of the circuit and across the line.
Wow, the way that Jarkko Jylhä, I've talked about this so many times.
Really nice lead line, even though there was a few mistakes creeping in from both sides. They're off through the gears down to initiation as Fionn Roche goes for it early, lights up the tyres on the back of that 2JZ Toyota GT86. But look at this from Jarkko Jylhä already on the front wheel, the young Irishman as they fire through the smoke. Fionn Roche starts to pick up the pace now, starts to look for that wall. It's deep into the wall. Oh, and it's a big accident for Fionn Roche. Jarkko Jylhä gonna complete the run as he has to, and then shut it down as he gets across the line. And yeah, we'll get shown the red flag from our marshal and see Fionn Roche in the middle of the track. That car absolutely in tatters, and yet another accident here.
How much the pace he can push on the Polish driver.
Well, he's keeping the Finnish fans' hopes alive this weekend as they come off the line and through the gears. It goes Peter Vincek as he leads them in and fires in that Supra. And look at that from Jarkko Jylhä down on the inside, looking for the front wheel of that Supra as they fire back the other way. Look at this from Jylhä straight down on the inside, not letting Vincek get away too quick. They fire through the middle of the circuit, right to the edge of the outside zone, back across again. Vincek on that perfect lead line as he puts the back end of that Supra to the wall, but Jarkko Jylhä can't be shaken.
Probably knows that there's still room and that Piotr can get that chase, but it doesn't matter what I think or what you think. Here's the action.
Here it certainly is, off the line, ready to rock and roll. The Finnish driver fires in that JZX 100, but he's down on the inside and it forces Vincek onto the inside of the circuit, but he deals with it. The Polishman absolutely cool, calm and collected and aggressive and keen for it, and he is going to go 100%, but look at the lead line from Jarkko Jylhä now as he starts to clean it up. Big angle as he throws that JZX to the wall. Peter Vincek gets onto the door, pushes the Finishman across the line.
The way Jarkko Jylhä throws that car
looks good so far. Chaser Drift team come off the lines, he fires through the gears, a beautiful JZX 100, puts it down, big angle, big speed and a very big car, plenty of room to get onto the wall. Jarkko Jylhä now fails to get there and he's going to lose outside zone 3, and this is very uncharacteristic and he shut it down.
Something's wrong.
Yeah. Will it work now? Will it be 110%? He lights the tyres off the line, comes through the gears. Finnish driver Jarkko Jylhä, 1,000 horsepower Toyota JZX 100, flicks into angle, stands on the throttle nice and early, tries to put the back end of that car where it needs to be. Very technical driver is this young Finnish as he fires it in to outside zone 4 nice and early. The longest car on the grid, flexes the back end off the wall as Jarkko Jylhä tries to set the scoreboard alight, tries to impress the judges, tries to get himself a spot in top 32 for the main show tomorrow as Jarkko Jylhä goes for the final outside zone and across the line.
Is it going to be enough?
Insect, but we're going to find out more about that as we move through. We wait for the light to go green as they creep off the line. It's the first battle of top 32 here in Germany and Ferropolis for round 6, and Shanahan leads out Jarkko Jylhä, but Jylhä's not going to go down without a fight as he sticks it to the door of the young Irishman already. But Shanahan, that perfect lead line is exactly what the judges are looking for. Jarkko Jylhä now trying to deal with it as he tucks that big JZX 100 onto the side but backs out of it, fearful of hitting the wall as they transition into 5. Jarkko Jylhä goes for a dive onto the front wheel, almost tags the side of the GTA 6 as Shanahan puts it to the wall and across the line.
Oh man, just a second run. So another thing the drivers have to compete with.
Yeah, certainly so. So here we go, off the line. Jarkko Jylhä now to lead out Connor Shanahan for a spot in the top 16 awaits, and a nice initiation, flexes the whole back end of the JZX 100 up the wall, puts himself right where he needs to be and opens the door for Connor Shanahan. Shanahan staring down the barrel, looking to get into the pocket of Jarkko Jylhä's JZX as they get into outside zone 4. Nice line so far from Jylhä, giving Shanahan all the opportunity to get nice and close. And Shanahan not taking the opportunity, but now starts to rein him in, now starts to dive on the door and mirrors the angle across the line.
Ooh, is this going to be enough for Connor Shanahan? Because, I mean, already starting to pick apart the chase runs because both leads were pretty good there.
This man absolutely screams the rev limiter off the line, and he's ready for business as Jarkko Jylhä wants to get this underway. Puts that big Toyota Chaser JZX 100 into the wall, perfect line, tickles that back bumper, and you can see where the wall's been painted along it all weekend as Jarkko Jylhä now gets himself into this outside zone. It's a beautiful job for Jylhä as he does exactly what the judges wanted to see. Picks up outside zone 5, dials on quite a lot of angle, maybe uses it to scrub the speed, and that line again very early to outside zone 6, stands on the accelerator, a little left foot brake as Jylhä puts the bumper towards the wall and across the line.
That was with a 95.
With 95. Jarkko Jylhä screams off the line. This 1,000 horsepower Toyota JZX 100 flicks from left to right, bumper onto the wall, ready from Jarkko Jylhä, but very clean once again from the Finnish driver as he now works his way around, super close to the wall, balances it back again into outside zone 4 as Jarkko Jylhä works his way around this long outside zone. He stares down the track for outside zone 5 and it's collected perfectly from the young Finn as he puts the bumper on the wall once again for outside zone 6. This is such a big car, but he drives it with ease as Jarkko Jylhä finds the wall and across the line.
He's got enough left on it to put up a good chase.
There we go, interesting times at Drift Masters finale here in Warsaw in Poland as Jarkko Jylhä leads out Naoki Nakamura. Nakamura straight onto the door of that JZX 100 as Jarkko Jylhä, the Finishman, tries to put on the best, the cleanest lead line he can. And look at that line already as Jylhä gets into outside zone 4. There's no shaking Naoki Nakamura though as Nakamura goes for that front wheel, shallow angle out of the outside zone, now falls into formation, starts to push Jarkko Jylhä around the circuit, starts to bully the young Finn as they get into outside zone 6. Both guys tag the wall, both guys make a correction, and now go get back into it on the wall and across the line. Japanese legend. Come off the line and through the gears. It's going to be Nakamura to lead out Jarkko Jylhä as they fire into that first outside zone. Look at this from Jylhä, straight onto the side, straight onto the door, manages it dials it in and mirrors the angle. This is brilliant from Jarkko Jylhä, and it's a really clean lead line so far from Naoki Nakamura as he works the angle into the car. A little scrappy in outside zone 4, but now starts to accelerate away as he picks up outside zone 5. Jarkko Jylhä, though, can't be shaken as the young Finn gets into it. Outside zone 6 for Field, and Jarkko Jylhä has been with him the whole way, and Jylhä almost overtakes him across the line.
Wow, Jarkko Jylhä is absolutely on it. Man, he's